You know that I have a joke for you, right? Of course I do. And this is something that I heard. I heard about this old lady that she got her car key locked inside the car. She tried every trick she could. She even tried to use a hanger she couldn't do it. So last resource, she prayed to God. And said, God, please help me open my car. And as soon as she finished praying, this rough biker came by and he stopped. Like really rough dude. And he looks at the lady and said, can I help you? And she said, yeah, I got my car key locked inside the car. The guy goes there 5 seconds. He opens the car. And the lady said, thank you so much. You're such a nice guy. I said, no, I'm not a nice guy. In fact, I just got out of jail for auto theft. She prays to God, said, thank you, God. Not only you send me a nice guy, but also professional. I want to talk to you today about the best car in the world. What about that for a sermon title? The best car in the world. This is something I talk with my son all the time. He's 9, almost 9. He's almost 9 years old. And he loves cars, and we also talk about what is his favorite car, what is my favorite car. I know at least Hannon Bill knows a little bit about cars, right? A little bit about cars, and everybody have their favorite. So, but keep that thought there. I'm going to come back at the end of the sermon, and we are going to talk about cars, okay? But before that, just a quick reminder of what's going on at this week's Parsha, okay? I mentioned before at the beginning of the service, blessings and curses. In fact, the Parsha starts, Re'eh, Anochi noten lifneihem hayom bracha uklala. God says, look, I put in front of you blessing and curse. Okay? And to represent that, there was going to be a ritual once they entered to the promised land, to the land of Israel. Moses planned already a ritual that it will have to happen there. There will be these two mounts, Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal. So the idea was that from Mount Gerizim, it's going to be a group that is going to say out loud a whole bunch of blessings to the Jewish people. And from Mount Ebal, another group is going to say a whole bunch of curses to the Jewish people. So it kept me thinking about these two mounts, Mount Gerizim, Mount Ebal. Are they real? Do we know where they are? Yes, you can see them today. They are just behind the city of Shechem, biblical city of Shechem. These days, Nablus. There are two mounts behind it, and one is Mount Gerizim, and one is Mount Ebal. And actually, Rashi mentioned that it's very interesting, because knowing that, blessings and curses are coming from those two places, if you look at them, actually I saw the photo, they are so close together that it's very difficult to know when one ends and the other one begin. And also, it's interesting, they share the same base, the two mounts. They're both coming at the same place. And yet, they are so different. From one came blessings, and from the other one came curse. But not only that, the fact that physically, Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal are so different, which is interesting, because they are next to each other. They share the same soil, and yet Mount Gerizim, at least my understanding is in biblical times was even more notorious. Mount Gerizim was green, full of trees, vegetation, grass. And Mount Ebal was just a dry, rocky mountain. And you see, from one came blessings, and from the other one came curses. And the rabbis explain that this is an amazing thing for us. We have so much to learn from these two mounts, in the sense that they both shared the same land, and then they came out so different. One became green and full of life, and the other one became dry and full of curses, full of bad things. How is that possible? That's life. That's life. Sometimes we know many examples of people that they come from the same place and they end up being very different to each other. One is a source of blessing and the other one is not. And the other one is not. And sometimes what happens is we get trapped into that situation, and if we do something wrong, we start blaming our environment, our upbringing, our teachers, our parents, and so many other things. We blame others for our behavior. And the rabbi said, look at these two mounts. They are coming from the same place. And one full of blessings, the other one is not. Why is that? Because the nutrients and the essence of both are different. So one was able to flourish, the other one was not. And then I was realizing that we are entering into the month of Elul. All year round, we make excuses for our behavior. All year round. Elul, right before the high holidays, is a time to stop blaming our environment, start blaming at what happened to us, and start looking to the inside. That's what Elul is. It's a time of introspection. To realize that if you want to have a chance to change your behavior and to become a source of blessing, a source of life that Mount Gerizim, what you have to do is to start by changing your inside. You have to start exploring how can you modify your inside so you can give more in the outside. That's why the blessings came from a place that was able to give green and vegetation, because that was the inside of Mount Gerizim. We are human beings. We can change. We have what it takes to discover our true potential and to make it be a source of blessings for others. But remember, you have to start from the inside. I learned once, many years ago, somebody told me that, if you have a tube of Colgate, doesn't matter how hard you squeeze it, you're never going to get crest. And that is also a representation of our life. We have to start changing to in the inside. The other thing we do many times, we compare ourselves to others. That is also something that Elul should be an opportunity to reflect, so we should never, ever compare ourselves to somebody else. We have our own race, our own challenges, our own destiny that has nothing to do with somebody else. And one way to start discovering what is inside ourselves, to start discovering our potential, is to stop comparing ourselves to others so we can give the best of ourselves. Back to the cars. Back to the cars. Because I was reading this week about this epic rivalry between Ferrari and Lamborghini. Do you know the story? It was 1963. And there was these two guys. One was Enzo Ferrari, who was making the Ferrari cars. The other one was Ferruccio Lamborghini. He loves Ferrari cars. In fact, Ferruccio Lamborghini, he was a tractor manufacturer. He was very good. His tractors in Italy, they were very good. But he loved cars, and he owned a Ferrari. And he noticed that the clutch on the Ferrari was braking fairly fast. And so it was a flaw in the design of the car. So what he did is, because he loved these Ferraris, he went to talk to Enzo Ferrari. And I said, look, there is a problem with your car. Let me work for you, and I will help you to improve that car. There is a famous phrase that Enzo Ferrari said at that moment to Ferruccio Lamborghini. He said, I make cars, you stick making tractors. Lamborghini he couldn't believe it. He was trying to help this other person to make a better product. So instead of getting depressed or anything, he decided to go and build his own cars. And that's how a tractor manufacturer designed what is considered by many the best car in the world. Instead of trying to be like somebody else, he discovered his true potential, put it into the car, and the rest is history. So now that we are approaching, we are entering the month of Elul, that we have the opportunity to connect to our inside, I was thinking that perhaps the challenge for each one of us is not to try to be like somebody else's Ferrari, because you can make your own Lamborghini. Shabbat Shalom.